Good morning everyone. Today we are going to talk about very important topics in business environment. Okay, so these are the topics that we are going to discuss in today's class. First topic we have business and politics in India. After that we have center state relationship and other constitutional problems related to business. Apart from that we have fundamental rights and directive principles. So first of all, let's understand why we need to study these topics. Okay, so basically we need to study business and politics in India, state and center relationship. After that we have constitutional problem, fundamental rights and directive principles, because these principles or these topics create the basic structure within which every business operates. And government makes policies, political parties influence economic decisions, as well as laws control business behavior, and the constitutions protect both businesses as well as people. Without understanding these topics, a business may break rules unknowingly, unintentionally, and may face penalties or make wrong decisions. So basically, these topics help us to understand how the government and business depend on each other, how they link with each other, how they relate with each other, how law protect both worker and companies, and how government policies aim to provide fairness and welfare in the society. So, overall, these topics shape the entire business environment. So, studying them, it helps us to become responsible, informed, and legally aware. Okay, so let's understand the first topic, that is business and politics in India. So, let's understand the meaning of business and politics in India. So, it means how government actions, how government political parties, how government elections, how government policies and political stability affect businesses. Business cannot work alone in the market. It always work under government rules. They have to follow the rules and regulation of government while working in the market. So, first of all, let's understand why we need to study this topic, business and politics in India. So, basically, to understand how political changes influence business decisions. In addition to that, to prepare for changes in tax laws, trade policies, and regulation, as well as to avoid losses due to the political instability, because government is changes, so it affect the business. And to avoid losses due to the political instability, as well as to understand how government schemes support industries, to support startup, to support new businesses in the market. Okay, so now let's understand why it matters for business. So basically, as I already mentioned in the previous slide, so basically business and politics are closely linked in India. So this topic matters for business because of these reasons. Government makes rules and policies, as well as because of political stability. Third reason behind that is government approves licenses and political support or pressure, as well as public policies. So let's understand these reasons. First, we have government makes rules and policies. That means the policies that make government, it is basically directly affect how businesses operate, like tax rules, labor laws, industrial policies, FDI rules. Next, we have political stability. It helps the businesses to plan long term. And if politics is unstable, so businesses face risk and uncertainty. There may be the chances of high loss for longer term. And apart from that, government approval and licenses depend on political and administrative system. In addition to that, political support or pressure can influence business environment, competition, growth, as well as public policies like Make in India, Digital India, GST, etc. shape the business opportunities. So, understanding politics helps the businesses to avoid risk, follow rules, and identify opportunities. Next, we have examples of business and politics in India. So, first example we have like GST introduced in 2017. At that time, the entire tax system changed because of the introduction of GST. Second example, we have political stability. For example, a stable government attract the foreign investment. If the government changes, then it's create the instability for the business. And after that, other example we have election time. Companies avoid big investment until the new government forms. And next example we have new industrial policy can increase or reduce business opportunities. So it's totally depend on the policies, how the government makes the policies. Next we have importance of business and politics in India. It helps the companies or businesses to plan long term, as well as it also helps the manager to understand future risk. It also helps to reduce losses due to the policy changes, and helps the entrepreneur or businesses to find the government support and subsidies. So next we have types of political influence and impact on businesses. First we have political stability. If stable government, that means the smooth growth in the business happened. But if the government is not stable, then there may be the chances of loss for a business. If investment are increases, so business also grow with time. And if business are grow, so jobs opportunities also enhance in the market. Second, we have political instability, which means the businesses stop expansion plan, foreign investment fall, as well as uncertainty increases because of political instability. Third, we have policy changes. New tax laws affect prices. Because of policy changes, new trade rules affect import and export. Because of policy changes, new labor laws affect wages. Next, we have government business relationship. If good relation of government and business, that means more support for industries. If relation of government and business is poor, so more restriction they put for the businesses to work in the market. Next, we have advantages and disadvantages of business and politics in India. So first advantage, we have supportive government policies, which means the program like Make in India and Startup India help businesses to grow. Apart from that, second advantage, we have better regulation. Laws protect consumer, worker and environment. Third advantage, we have it also increases the foreign investment. Clear policies attract global companies, and as well as protection for competition. This is also the other advantage of business and politics in India. government check monopoly, and unfair practices. If we talk about the disadvantages, so first disadvantage we have political instability. Changes in government create uncertainty for business. And the second disadvantage we have frequent policy changes. That means the businesses must continuously adjust, which increases cost. Third disadvantage we have corruption and bureaucracy, which means delay in approval and licenses. Apart from that, fourth disadvantage we have political interference, which means sometimes political pressure affect business decisions. So let's understand the second topic, that is center state relationship. So first of all, let's understand the meaning of center state relationship. So basically in India has a federal system. This means the power is shared between the center and state. So if we talk about the central government, that is based on Delhi, and if we talk about the state government, it's uh, it's like which include the UP, HP, MP. These are the states. Both makes the rules that affect the businesses. So why we need to study this center and state relationship? Because some permissions come from center and some from the state. So it's very important to know about the rule and regulation, or what are the new policies that implement by the center or state government. For setting up a business, you must know which government to approach, and it also helps to avoid the confusion as well as legal problems. And it also helps to understand how taxes are shared. Okay, for example, GST. Next we have state and center relationship, why it matters for business. So basically, as I already mentioned in the previous slide, India has a federal system. That means in here, center and state both are linked to each other and they share the power. This topic matter for business because different state have different business laws, taxes, labor, as well as policies and incentives. So businesses must follow both the center and state laws. So understanding their relationship is very important for the businesses. As well as policy conflict between the center and state can affect industries. For example, GST issue, agricultural laws. Next we have state level permissions like land approval, electricity, transport, and local taxes directly affect the business operations. Interstate trade, movement of goods and logistics depend on good center state coordination. So this topic teaches us how political relations between center and state affect investment, expansion, taxes, operations of business. So let's understand this topic with the help of example. First example we have GST Council, which means the same center and state together decide the tax rate. Other example we have land for industries. Here the state government gives the land for the industries to work in the market. Next example we have foreign trade and FDI, which is controlled by the central government. And central policies, for example in Shimla, Gujarat, gives the special incentives. Next we have importance of center and state relationship. So basically it ensures the smooth functioning for business. It helps the government make balanced law and also reduces the state and center conflict. Businesses get clarity about rules. Next we have types of center state relations and impact. So first type we have legislative relations, which means the lawmaking. Center makes some laws regarding banking and foreign trade, and where the states make some laws which include the police, land, and agriculture. If we talk about the impact of legislative relations, so basically in businesses know which law applied where. Second type we have administrative relation, how the center and states implement the laws. If we talk about the impact of administrative relations, it helps the businesses get approval from correct department. And next we have financial relations, how money, tax, grant are shared between the center and state. And if we talk about the impact, it affects the state level development and business incentives. Next we have advantages and disadvantages of central state relationship. So basically clear division of power, it helps to maintain the smooth functioning of government. And other advantage we have state flexibility. State can make policies based on local needs, which include the labor and land. Third advantage we have cooperative federalism, which include GST Council, Niti Aayog help the coordinated development. Apart from that, better law and order. Center and state share the responsibilities. If we talk about the disadvantages of center and state relationship, so basically because of that conflict between the state and center, so it delays the development project. Second, we have different state rules, create the confusion for businesses operating in many states. As well as we have unequal development, some states develop faster than others. In addition to that, we have excessive dependence on center, some states rely heavily on central funds. Third topic we have constitutional problem related to business. So basically constitutional set many rules that businesses must follow, and if these rules create difficulties, they are called constitutional problems. So why we need to study these constitutional problem related problems related to business? To avoid the breaking laws and to understand which business activities are restricted and which type of activities that we want to avoid, we need to avoid, so that the particular business is not hampered. To know what right worker have and to run a business ethically. After that, we have other constitutional problem related to business, why it matters for business. So basically it include issues like dispute over taxation power, as well as dispute on environmental laws, labor laws, and land acquisition. And it matters for business because constitutional problem can delay project, increase legal cost, as well as create uncertainty. Court judgment on business related issues like taxation, property right, environmental rules directly impact the companies. If law are unclear or conflicting, so businesses face compliance problem and risk of penalties. So basically constitutional limit define what the government can or cannot do, which affect business freedom. Understanding this helps the businesses operate legally, safely, and confidently. Next, we have examples based on constitutional problems related to business. So, first example we have environmental rule. Factories must control pollution. Second, we have labor laws, which include the minimum wage, working hours must be followed. Third example we have ban on child labor. Businesses can hire children under 14. Next example we have restriction on harmful goods, tobacco advertisement restriction. If we talk about the importance of a constitutional problem related to business, so first importance we have protect worker from exploitation, protect customer from harmful product. It saves the nature, improves the fairness in business. Next we have types of constitutional problem and impact. First type we have trade restriction, second we have labor related issues, environmental restriction, tax issues. So these are the different types. Next we have advantages and disadvantages of constitutional problem. So first advantage we have legal protection. So in business activities are protected under law, and fair treatment because of the constitutional law, because law prevent the pollution and protect natural sources, and ethical business practices because of the constitutional law. Constitution increases the fairness and transparency in businesses in the market. If we talk about the disadvantages, so too many rules in the constitutional. So because of that, regulation can be slowed down in the business activities, and because of constitutional law, the legal dispute may occur, like court cases take long time and money. Third, we have compliance cost, which means businesses must spend money on pollution control and safety, etc. Outdated laws. Some constitutional rules need updating to match modern business needs. Next topic we have fundamental rights. So first of all, let's understand what is the meaning of fundamental rights. So basic right given to all people that protect freedom, equality and justice. So why we need to study this? Because businesses must follow these rights, help companies to treat worker fairly. It helps the customer fight against cheating. It also helps the entrepreneur to start business freely. For example, right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to constitutional remedies. Next we have, so basically why fundamental rights matter for a business. So fundamental rights protect individual and also influence how businesses must behave. They matter for the business because businesses must respect right to equality and also avoid the discrimination in hiring or services. Right to freedom allows the entrepreneur to start businesses in the market as well as speak freely. They have the power to put their opinion and operate ethically. Right to property, it also helps the businesses to protect their asset. Right to constitutional remedy, which allows the businesses to challenge unfair government actions. After that, consumer right and employees right are connected to fundamental rights. So businesses must operate in a way that respect right and avoid violating the constitution. If we talk about the importance of fundamental rights, so basically it promotes the fairness, it protects the weaker section, it also helps in smooth business functioning and also build trust between business and society. If we talk about the types of fundamental rights and impact on business, so basically first type we have right to equality, no discrimination by the businesses, equal pay for equal work. And if we talk about the right to freedom, which include the freedom to start any profession or business, and businesses must follow the restrictions which include the license safety rules. Third type we have right against exploitation, which include no child labor, no unsafe workplace conditions should be there. Fourth type we have cultural and educational right, which include the businesses must respect cultural diversity and cannot hurt the sentiments of employees. Okay, so next topic we have fundamental rights and its advantages and disadvantages. So first advantage we have freedom of trade and profession, anyone can start a business. And second advantage we have equality in employment, no discrimination in hiring or salaries, protection from exploitation, and ban the child labor and forced labor. Freedom of speech, which helps the raise issues and also improve business environment. If we talk about the disadvantages of fundamental rights, so strict legal requirement, businesses must follow many rules to avoid the violation. And second disadvantage we have right misuse, which include the strikes and protest can disturb the business operations. And third disadvantage we have higher cost, providing fair wages and safe condition increases the expenses as well as legal challenges. Worker and consumer can sue if the right are violated. And the last topic we have directive principles of state policy. So basically, these are the instructions for the government to create policies that improve welfare, reduce poverty, and bring fairness in the society. So why we need to study directive principles of state policy? Because the government make many businesses law based on directive principle of state policy. It also helps to understand why welfare scheme exist, and it also helps to companies to follow the ethical practices, and also explain why businesses must protect worker and environment. For example, minimum wages act, and pollution control law, social security for workers, which include the pension and PF, as well as equal pay for men and women. Next we have why directive principles of state policy matters for business. So basically, directive principle guide the government to create welfare policies. They matter the business because directive principles of state policy inspire laws related to labor welfare, minimum wages, environmental protection, fair taxation, and social justice. Businesses must follow these welfare oriented laws while operating, and government policies for rural development, education, health, infrastructure based on directive principle of state policy create the new market and opportunities for the business. So basically, directive principle and state policies shape the long term economic goals like equal distribution of wealth and balanced regional development. And directive principle of state policy influence the policy environment in which the business grow in the market. Next we have importance of directive principles of state policy. It reduce the inequality, protect the workers, as well as it also motivate economic development, or also increase the economic development, and also create the responsible business behavior. Next we have types of directive principles state policy and its impact. First type we have socialist directive principle state policy. Its aim at equal income worker protection. So if we talk about the impact, so businesses must give fair wages. Next we have Gandhian directive principle state policy. So basically it support the small and village industries. And if we talk about the impact, it more support for handicraft and handlooms because of Gandhian directive principle state policy. Next we have liberal directive principle state policy, which include the trade international relationship. And if we talk about the impact, it increases business growth and trade. Next we have advantages and disadvantages of directive principles of state policy. So first advantage we have welfare based policies, which encourage the government to create the policies for people well-being. And second advantage we have better working conditions, which support the fair wages, health, and safety. And the third advantage we have equal distribution of welfare, reduced inequality in society. And fourth we have environmental protection. It also increases the sustainable development. If we talk about the disadvantages, no enforceable, which means the citizen cannot force government to follow directive principles of state policy. It also depends on government willingness. Implementation varies across the government. Higher government spending, which means the welfare schemes, may increase the taxes. And next disadvantage we have restriction on business. Some environmental rules limit business activities. So come to the conclusion part. So basically understanding business and politics in India, center state relationship, constitutional problem, fundamental rights, directive principles is essential because these elements create the overall environment in which every business operates. Political decision shapes the policies, and center state relationship affect the regulation and taxes, and constitutional laws decide what business can or cannot do. And if we talk about the fundamental rights, they basically protect entrepreneurship, employees, and consumers, while directive principles guide the government to make welfare oriented law that influence labor conditions, environment, social justice, and economic development. In short, these topic matters because they help businesses to operate legally, make better decisions, reduce risk, understand government policies, and identify future opportunities in India's dynamic political and constitutional framework. So that is all about for the today's class. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care. Keep learning. Keep growing.